Tuesday's encouragement, speaking versus touching. A CEO can command an architect to build, design a structure, but he doesn't have the same compassion for the structure as the architect does or the construction worker who created and built the building. The CEO can tell the architect or artist to destroy the building or that he has changed his mind regarding building it. In the end, he'll often have no emotions regarding that, but the architect or creator may be distraught and may disobey the command or at least try to find another financier because he has a personal connection to the creation. The CEO may have the power to create the building or command it to be built, but he most often does not have a connection, an intimate connection with the building because he didn't touch it. Often, people referred to today as creative types can be very attached to his or her work due to the part of his or herself they've invested into the creation. And often it involves physically touching their creation. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, an actress and a retired basketball player, had their surrogate child in November of 2018. To make sure that the bonding was created between the mother and the child immediately after the child was born, the baby was placed in Gabrielle's arms so that by them touching, the bonding would begin. This was necessary because since Gabrielle didn't birth the child naturally and didn't have the natural bonding taking place between her and the child because the child was growing inside of her, it was encouraged that the child be placed in Gabrielle's arms immediately and that their bodies touch so that the bonding could begin. Both of these stories remind me of how, in spite of the fact that God spoke the world into existence and spoke the other creatures into being, he took a personal touch and molded the man and the woman from clay with his hands. Yes, God even expressed the importance of touching to create the bonding between the adult and the parent, that is, between God and his children. The Lord God did not speak man into being, but he molded him, her, and touched them so that there would be intimacy. You see, God desires intimacy. Man desires intimacy. Woman desires intimacy. It's in our DNA. We are like our Creator because he deemed it so in his own image. God desires a personal, intimate relationship with you. Do you know that the first commandment is to love the Lord thy God? See Mark 12:30. God, from the beginning, made man to have a relationship with him and to live in him. But do you want one? An intimate relationship with him? He calls to you. Do you call to him? He says if you call him, he will answer. If he calls you, will you answer? Is he calling you now? How would you know? If you heard him, please harden not your heart. Hebrews 3:15. God desires intimacy with you. He is for you. Part 2 of Tuesday's encouragement, speaking versus touching, next week. This is Elder D.T. Stanley, interim pastor for Harvest Time Worship Center. Blessings.